Federal troops have continued to advance deeper into areas long controlled by dangerous bandit groups, and the entire country is watching closely as this new phase of the security operation unfolds. As these troops push forward, many communities that have suffered fear and uncertainty for years are beginning to see signs of hope. And today, I want to take you through everything happening, why this moment feels different, and how even religious figures like Sheikh Ahmad Gumi have reacted to these latest developments. As I break it down for you, please remember to like this video and subscribe, because your support helps us keep bringing you these important updates. Right now, what is happening on the ground is not the usual quick response mission or a single rescue operation. This is a coordinated movement, a deliberate push, with troops entering territories that were previously considered too dangerous, too hidden, or too well defended by armed gangs. Communities in states like Zamfara, Kaduna, Niger, Katsina, and parts of the North Central region are beginning to see changes they had long prayed for. For years, people in these areas lived in constant fear, with entire villages forced to leave their homes and farms, children kept out of school, and families separated due to kidnappings and insecurity. Now, as troops move in, camps used by these violent groups are being destroyed, routes they used to escape are being blocked, and several civilians who had been held captive have been rescued. What makes this operation different is not just the movement of soldiers, but the consistency. Day after day, the troops have been moving, clearing, and securing. This is not a one-day or two-day mission. It is an ongoing strategy. And as these forces advance, they are finding more evidence of how deeply the bandits had settled into these territories. From constructed hideouts to storage locations for weapons and stolen goods. Please remember to like this video and subscribe, because it encourages us to bring you more of these well-explained updates. The rescue operations have been especially emotional. In some areas, soldiers found groups of kidnapped civilians, men, women, and even children, who had been held in captivity for days, weeks, or even months. Some came out crying, some came out speechless, and many could hardly believe that help had finally reached them. The soldiers involved in these rescues have been praised for their bravery, and community leaders have been expressing gratitude as hope slowly returns. However, as these operations intensify, national discussions have also intensified, especially because of the comments coming from Sheikh Ahmad Gumi. He has become a controversial figure in this conversation, and his reactions have added another layer to the public debate. Gumi has argued that some of these armed groups are willing to surrender and embrace peace if they are offered certain reintegration plans. His view is that a military approach alone may not solve the long-term issues. He believes that there should be room for dialogue, negotiation, and what he calls a non-violent pathway to reintegration. This reaction has drawn mixed responses. Some people say peace must include dialogue. Others believe the military should continue with full force and should not slow down. While the troops continue their operations, Gumi's comments continue to divide public opinion. Many Nigerians feel strongly that after years of suffering, the time for leniency is over. Others believe that a long-term peace must include a pathway for those willing to drop their weapons. As you are listening, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more updates delivered clearly and calmly. One major concern being raised is the need for the government to be transparent about what happens after the military clears these areas. When a camp is destroyed and a community is rescued, people want to know, will the troops stay long enough to secure the place? Will displaced people be able to return home safely? Will the bandits regroup elsewhere? These questions matter because Nigerians have seen this pattern before. Operations begin, troops succeed, and then after some time the criminals return. This time, many people are hoping that the government has learned lessons and that long-term planning is part of the strategy. Another thing happening is that communities are beginning to speak up. Some local leaders are encouraging the government to maintain the pressure, saying that if this momentum is sustained for months, not just weeks, the bandit groups will lose their power. Farmers want to go back to their farmlands.
Traders want to travel without fear. Parents want their children to move freely again. The success of these military operations could directly affect food prices, social stability, and economic activity across the entire country, not just the north.
So when we talk about these advances, we are talking about something that affects everyone, even people living far from the conflict zones. As the operations deepen, there is also a human side to the story. You hear accounts from families who have been reunited. You hear testimonies from young people who had been held against their will. You hear from elders who thought they would never see peace again in their lifetime. These voices remind us why this issue matters so much. This is not just a military story, it is a human story. And I want you to please like this video and subscribe, because this type of in-depth storytelling takes time and effort, and your support helps maintain it. But even with the progress, experts continue to warn that long-term peace requires more than military strength. They argue that poverty, unemployment, lack of education, and lack of basic infrastructure in rural areas must be addressed. They fear that if these root issues are not solved, new groups could rise in the future. Meanwhile, others insist that the priority for now is security. Bring stability first, then reforms can follow. It is a complex situation with no single solution. Right now, the morale among troops appears high, according to reports from local communities describing how soldiers are moving through forest corridors and rural pathways that were once considered inaccessible. Residents say seeing these soldiers enter deep areas brings a feeling of protection and relief. And while the troops continue their push, intelligence gathering is improving. This helps identify the exact locations of hideouts, the routes used for movement, and the points where the bandits get supplies. As these efforts continue, the government is under pressure to ensure coordination between the army, local vigilantes, and community safety networks. In previous years, lack of coordination created gaps that allowed bandits to escape. This time, many Nigerians hope that communication is stronger. Community members are also playing a role by alerting security forces whenever they see suspicious activities. This entire situation shows that Nigeria is at a turning point. If the advances continue successfully, there could be a major shift in national security. But at the same time, there is still caution, because the challenge is not small. The territories are large, the terrain is difficult, and the bandits have operated there for years. But momentum is a major advantage, and the troops appear determined to keep moving forward.